Hey guys, for today's video, I'm going to be talking about my experience being married. I've had a lot of you guys just ask a ton of questions of what it's like being married so young and just being married in general. I did a video a while back about 5 things that I didn't expect about being married, and I'll link that down below if you guys are interested in checking it out. But I kind of just wanted to share a little bit more about my experience because I feel like the image or the idea that people have of marriage, especially when you're newlyweds, is not often very accurate, or at least it wasn't for me. So that's what I'm going to be doing for today's video. So Grayson and I have been married for what will be 2 years, February 2020, and so weird to say that we're going to hit 2020 because time's going by so fast. But anyway, so we've been married for 2 years, that date, and it's been an amazing experience. It's been really hard. I've loved it and I've hated it all in one. I'm going to be honest with you guys. And I also am going to be eating some chocolate while I film this video because I came home and Grayson had this little post-it that said, "I love you, enjoy." So super sweet. And this is probably not the best idea because I'm probably going to end up with like chocolate in my teeth and I'm going to look really stupid. But that's what we're going to be doing for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoy. Make sure and give it a thumbs up if you do, and let me know down below what other questions you guys have about my marriage and my life in general, because I definitely love doing videos like this because I feel like it lets me kind of just express and share more about myself with you guys so that you guys can kind of get to know me a little bit better. And yeah, so let's get started. So for starters, to give you guys a quick backstory, whether you've heard this already or not, I'm from Florida, Grayson's from Arkansas. We met in Colorado doing a missionary program. And long story short, right after we got married, we decided to move and settle down in Arkansas. And we lived in Arkansas for about, I think it was like 8 or so months before we were like, okay, we don't want to be here anymore. And we moved to Florida to give that a shot. Then from there, we lived in Florida for I think what was almost a year, but not quite. And then we said, hey, we're moving back to Arkansas. So we've been doing a lot of moving back and forth throughout our short time of being married. And some of the reasons why we moved from like certain places to other places was like family and finances and that kind of thing. But a lot of it I think just had to do with where we were in our relationship. Now that we're back in Arkansas, I'm not with my family. When we first got married and we settled down in Arkansas, I was still so new to the area because prior to having gotten married, I had only been here once. And I loved the place because I thought it was really cute. I loved like the scenery, the weather. I liked that there was so many like locally owned shops and coffee shops, and everything was so close, which I love because I hate driving, right? And so I was like, wow, like I could totally see myself living here, and I love his family, and I'm always about like trying new places because like prior to being married, I was doing a bunch of missionary work. So I was constantly traveling and experiencing new cultures and seeing new people, and I was used to being away from my family. Not to say that I didn't love spending time with them, because I did, but like I was like, okay, this is not going to be hard at all. It was so hard. Okay, we got married, and obviously when we first got married, I was super happy, and like we hadn't quite gotten like settled down in our job, so like everything was super new. And I feel like when you first start something off that's like new to you, it's exciting and it's fun, and like, you know, it's easy to kind of go about doing those things. But I would probably have to say not too long after we were married, probably like 2 or 3 months in, I was getting so sad. Once we got back from our little honeymoon, it was still a really exciting time because it was our first time living together, and we got to like decorate the place and kind of just dream up things that we wanted to do and what we wanted to do with our life. And we were also like newlyweds, so like hello. Okay, anyway, so it was just a really sweet time, and I got to hang out with his family a lot, and his family was super welcoming and super loving, and I loved it all. But it's like as time went by, I was getting to this point where I was like, okay, like I love everything here, but I miss everything back home. Like I miss seeing my friends, I miss seeing my family, I miss having alone time, because I feel like when you first get married, you think that like you have to spend time with each other 24/7, and to an extent, because you're newlyweds, you want to do that, but also like it was so hard for me to figure out how to have alone time. Not because Grayson didn't allow it, because he did really encourage me to have alone time when I could, but I just didn't know like what my alone time looked like anymore, and I didn't have any friends to hang out with, and like I would still chat with my friends back home, but it's very different to like catch up with them through the phone than it is to like do life with them. It was just kind of that like struggle that I had when I first got married, of getting used to being away from my friends and family. But like all of that really took a toll on our marriage, and it got really hard the first few months of our marriage, which I feel like people don't talk about. And obviously everyone's marriage is different, and everyone's like first year of marriage is going to be totally different. And the thing is, I feel like so oftentimes there's like this like idea that when you first get married, like the first year is just like honeymoon phase, and like it's amazing, and like it's the best thing ever. And like to an extent it is, but honestly it was also like a horrible year. And I feel like that's so contradictory, but it's because like it was so hard. Marriage is so hard. And when you're first married, and like you're new to being married, and you're new to living with one another, and getting used to like things that wouldn't pop up when you were dating, and like all this stuff, it's all new to you, and you're learning how to figure that all out. And it's hard. It's really hard. It's totally doable, and we've moved past and like grown from those things. And I'd have to say that like now that the year has passed and we're kind of headed into our second year of marriage, it has gotten so much better. I feel like we're a lot happier, and like the way we communicate with one another is better. Like there's still room for improvement, but it's definitely gotten so much better. And I think the reason that we struggled so much is because I felt like I lost myself, and I felt like Grayson felt this responsibility, like that it was his job to make me happy. And looking back at it, and like talking with other people who have gone through like their first year of marriage, I feel like a lot of people fall under this category. And it's essentially that like one of you feels like they lost themselves, and the other person's taking responsibility for that. And like obviously Grayson makes me so happy, and to an extent like how I feel and how happy I am is dictated by what he does and doesn't do, and vice versa. But like at the end of the day, like I need to choose to be happy, and I need to choose to be joyful, and like I can't put that kind of pressure on another person. So what we were struggling with a lot throughout like the first year of our marriage was, one, like me being happy and kind of figuring myself out. So because I was in a new area and everything was so new to me, like I didn't remember what I liked to do. I wasn't super involved in the church like the way I was when I wasn't married and when I was back home. So those changes like really shifted the way I saw myself. I was very insecure. I was very unhappy. I felt very purposeless, if that's a word. I felt like I had no purpose. Okay, anyway, so I was struggling with those things, and when we try to have those discussions, he'd get really sad and almost take the blame for how I felt. And so like he was like, I feel like in this constant like state of being pressured, and also feeling unhappy, and kind of like clueless as to what to do. And so that really took a toll on kind of how we went about going the first year of our marriage. The second thing is we did go on a mission trip to India like 4 months into our marriage, and I honestly think that that was not the wisest thing to do. Mission trips in itself are already pretty difficult because, you know, you're leaving the comfort of your home, you're leaving your family, your friends, and that sense of stability to like go to this place that you've never been to, experience new people, new cultures, have to change the way you eat, your sleeping habits. You're taking a toll on like your spiritual life, like your physical life, like just everything is very challenged and very heightened when you're on a mission trip. And to be newlyweds, kind of trying to figure out how to do the whole marriage thing and then take that and put that on the mission field, my God, that is so hard. We were literally like, we were enjoying our time in India, but when it came to like closed doors, like when we'd go to bed, we were constantly like, well, I was constantly crying. I was constantly crying and he was constantly like, I don't know what to do. We didn't really know how to express what we were feeling because we didn't really know what was going on. We were still trying to figure out like where we were clashing as a couple. I hope this is all making sense, and this video might be a little lengthy, so thanks for watching. But anyway, so that was the second thing that kind of took a toll on our marriage, and also financially. Like, we were newlyweds and we did not have any money, and we were already pretty like in debt from previous mission trips we had taken prior to getting married. So having gone on this trip to India really took a toll on us financially. So when we got back, we were literally just constantly working and paying off credit cards. And like, I feel like we didn't really get to enjoy like that part of the marriage where like, you know, you're excited about saving up for a home, or you get to like buy your first couch, or, you know, furnish your little apartment, or freaking get an apartment, because we didn't get an apartment until a year and a half into our marriage. So just things like that I think we could have gone about it differently. But needless to say, I felt very lost the first part of my marriage, and I think that he was just very unhappy seeing me unhappy. And so we were in Arkansas when we first started to figure all this out, and at this point we didn't really know how to like communicate super well because we're both very different people. I'm more of the person who, when we get into an argument or like we clash in something, I like to be able to step back and kind of have time to myself to kind of like recover and relax and kind of just really think through what happened. Whereas Greyson is more of like the, okay, like we need to talk about this now, we need to fix this now, like I'm not going to bed kind of thing. And that was really hard because I felt like he was constantly pushing me and not respecting the way I felt. But then he felt like I wasn't putting effort into the relationship, and like I didn't care about how he felt, and that the fact that we were arguing was not a big deal. Just things like that where like you just start to think things that aren't even true. All of that was going on, and I was away from my friends and from my family and from my home church, and that just, I feel like, heightened everything and made everything so much worse. And so there just came a point where we were both like, okay, like we're not happy, and if we want things to get better, we need to try something else. So we said, let's move to Florida. We moved to Florida, and it was such a sweet experience because I got to reconnect with all of my friends. I got to hang out with my family, and it was just such a sweet time in that sense. And Greyson loved it as well, just because it was a new environment for him. It was his first time like fully settling down somewhere that was not where he grew up. In so many ways, I feel like we learned a lot and really got to grow as a couple, having been, you know, put in a different environment. But we thought about it more and kind of just realized that like, okay, like I love my friends and my family, but at the end of the day, I married Greyson, and he's my husband and he's who I'm doing life with. So my environment and that kind of thing cannot dictate how my marriage goes. We loved the people who are in Florida, but we don't love Florida in itself. No offense to anyone who loves or lives in Florida, but we just don't see ourselves settling there. And we were finally at a point where like we were okay, and we took that time, now that we were okay, to kind of just like dream up and envision things for ourselves, like business opportunities and life goals, and, you know, buying a home and settling down and all that stuff. And we just didn't see that happening in Florida. Not because of the people. Again, if I could have Greyson's family and my family all live in the same state, my dreams would come true. But I don't know if that's ever gonna happen. So, and mind you, I don't think we're gonna ever like settle down in Arkansas as far as like full on raising our children and like settling down in a home or retiring here, if that makes sense. I don't think either of us knows where we want to do that, but again, this can all change because things change. But we're really happy where we are now, and we're kind of just, you know, doing life, being happy, being married, working, that kind of thing, and then we're just gonna kind of take it from there. But I don't know if that made sense. I just want to say that marriage is really hard. It's amazing, So I'm gonna start off with that. It's really, really amazing. I love it. I don't regret getting married, especially because I got married so young. I think the fact that Grayson and I got married younger than your average couple is kind of beneficial because, you know, we get to kind of figure ourselves out together instead of figuring ourselves out and then coming together and then having to figure ourselves out again because everything changes once you get married. I think that we've gotten a lot better at our communicating, envisioning, you know, things for ourselves, dreaming things up for ourselves. We've gotten better at understanding that, like, we make each other happy, but at the end of the day, like, it's not our responsibility to make each other happy. To have that internal joy, like, that's a choice, and that's not something that, like, can or should be dictated by another person. I love doing life with him, and I'm super, super thankful that I get to do it with him, and, like, the thought of getting to have kids with him and buying a home, and, like, it makes me so, so excited, and I'm very thankful that, like, it's Grayson who I get to do that with. You can't tell, but I'm getting a little teary-eyed. Anyway, but marriage is really hard. I'm gonna need a second. Anyway, so I love everything about it. I don't even know why I'm crying. That chocolate's real good. I don't even know why I had the idea to, like, share with you guys, like, my first year of marriage experience. And I feel like I'm definitely gonna have to do another, like, video to kind of go more in depth about certain things that I hit in this video, because I feel like I got to a point where I was kind of just rambling, so sorry about that. But there's just so many, like, I don't know if the word stigmas or, like, there's just so many ideas about certain things that I feel like they're so skewed. And I feel like one of those things is, like, how easy marriage is. And I feel like whoever tells you marriage is easy is, like, lying to you, like, straight up. Because it's not easy, and it's not meant to be easy, because, like, you married this person for so many reasons, but one of those things is they're meant to make you look more like Christ. They're meant to grow you as a person and change you for the better. And that stuff's not easy to do. It's not easy to have someone look at you and, like, call you out in something or tell you that you need to fix this, you know, in love, obviously. It's just in doing life with someone in, like, that close of a proximity and in, like, that kind of intimacy that, like, it's just kind of something that naturally happens. And I'm only a year and a half in. I'm not even like, congrats, it's been 10 years or something, which we're gonna get there some point, but kudos to you. You know, however long you've been married. Also, like, if your marriage didn't work out, like, I know that God still loves you and he still wants to redeem that marriage if he can. And if it can't be redeemed, like, I don't want in any way for what I'm saying to, like, make you feel, like, ashamed for where you are in that realm of, like, whether you're married, divorced, remarried, wherever you're at with that. But I kind of just wanted to, like, throw that little nugget of truth out to you guys that, like, marriage was really, really hard for me. And I know that it's still going to be really hard because there's still going to be a lot of things that are going to be thrown at us. And yeah, I guess that's basically it for today's video. Please comment down below what you need clarification on, what you'd like me to talk a little bit more about. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it was not too long. I hope that it made the most sense that it could. And yeah, so I love you guys. I hope that this kind of encouraged you. If you're still single or if you're not married, like, the right person will come along at some point. Don't rush into it. Don't settle. Like, be mindful of who you choose, because when you choose that person and you make that commitment to spend the rest of your life with them, you want it to be someone that you're 100% sure that this is who you want to make your commitment to, because it is going to be really, really hard. And it's going to be so beautiful again. Yeah, so I'm going to go now. So I love you guys. Have a great weekend. I will see you on Tuesday. Again, let me know whatever it is you're confused about. Okay, bye guys. Thanks for listening.